Hello and welcome to Talking Wrestling and Hockey this week with Pondwater Dave. I am Justin Davis, as
Nay,
always.
nay. Back up. You said it wrong.
What I
He's
say?
fine. It's all right.
It's talking wrestling and hockey with Mike Bober.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Pondwater Dave, and of course the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn, and the man who counted Ric Flair's last match, Mr. Pondwater Dave. And as he mentioned, of course, from the great city that is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mr. Mike Bober. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate that. And I know how much that must have killed you there, Justin, to say that.
Well, we're glad you're here tonight, Bober. We're going to start right off the top. We're going to put you over. The reason it's talking wrestling and hockey with Mike Bober is Mike was the high bidder on the auction where we raised money for the family of our fallen friend Josh Odom. We lost Josh earlier this year. There was a telethon, and Mr. Bober was good enough to bid on hosting this show. So this is his baby tonight, and we're excited to have him here.
I appreciate you having me, and it was for a good cause. I have no problems doing that, and thoughts and prayers still go out to everyone, to Josh's family, and all of that. So
Thank you so much for donating. I mean, it was amazing how much money we were able to raise for Carla and the kids.
Yeah.
In a short amount of time. So thank you to you and everyone that donated to that.
And I mean, if you're watching along with us, you can see the graphic on the screen right now. I didn't even correct my wife and producer when she showed me this artwork, and it had Pittsburgh on the left and the stars on the right. I just let it fly.
Yeah,
but I swallowed hard.
and the fact she took the very first logo that they ever had, too. That was
I like it.
That was the original logo.
I felt like that was an old school logo there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't hate the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I mean, I'm excited. I actually, out of all the teams that aren't the Dallas Stars, I actually kind of enjoy the Penguins. They had a player that was named after one of my favorite drinks in my 30s.
Jägermeister.
Jagermeister.
Jagermeister.
Yarmer Yager.
So we do want to talk. We had a tough week in wrestling, Dave. I know we want to go ahead and bring up, of course, the terrible passing of Bray Wyatt.
Unfortunately, we're doing this every week now, and man, it's just this one. I mean, I'm not saying this one hurts any less than, that Terry Funk hurts any less than this. While Terry Funk had a good long life and did it all, this guy was just getting started. Wyndham Rotundo, better known as Bray Wyatt, third generation wrestler. His dad, Mike Rotundo, IRS, Michael Wall Street in WCW, one of the, that was his father. His grandfather was Blackjack Mulligan. His uncle was Barry Windham. He came from a wrestling family. Wyndham Rotundo. The Wyndhams and the Rotundos is how he got his name. He leaves behind, from what I understand, the wedding invitations had been mailed out. Oh. He was about to get married, had 5 kids, if I'm not mistaken. That's the thing to remember, that he's more than a wrestler. He's a father. Unfortunately, at 36 years old, his heart gave out as a result of a battle with COVID-19 earlier this year. And it's just sad. Just thoughts and prayers don't sound, it sounds so cliche, but you just gotta, keep that family in their prayers, because I'm sure they're reeling, a woman doesn't have her husband, and those kids don't have their father. And 36 years old, it's just such tragedy. And he had started out as Husky Harris and then reinvented himself back when NXT was, I believe, on Hulu. And he kind of based the character on Robert De Niro's character from Cape Fear. What was the guy's name? It's escaping me. Beatty. I can't think of the character's name, but it was De Niro from Cape Fear is what that had those vibes, and he was real cerebral with his interviews, and then it got kind of crazy with the Firefly Funhouse, and really crazy with the Fiend. So it's just I thought that he needed a cinematic match at WrestleMania with Cena, which out of the two cinematic matches, I actually like that one better than the Graveyard match, because sometimes I can't suspend my disbelief, but it presented as a movie. Like John Cena, This Is Your Life. What if Cena had made these decisions? And I really liked the cinematic match. I thought it was really good. I mean, it was crazy. But I'm
I
rambling.
thought it was a really classy thing that AEW did in London when they had the little tribute to him with the lantern.
Yes.
And all the fireflies out in this, I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, universally loved. I don't think anybody that ever met him didn't like him. And, you got to feel bad. Heart just breaks for Eric Rowan, because he is so talented, and it seems like the only time that you ever see him on TV anymore is when he's memorializing one of his friends. And it's just, I don't know.
Do you think they bring him back and continue and bring back Bo and continue with the Uncle Howdy storyline?
I wish they would. I really wish they would. And I've said this on this podcast before, when we've talked about the difference between television and live events, that if you saw the Eric Rowan that they have at a live event on television, he'd be a superstar on television. But they never present him on television the way that he gets to perform at a live event. Mm-hmm. And if they did that, I mean, because on television, he's just in the background, big and brooding, intimidating with the red beard, the quiet. He's just, they don't let him talk. And in a live event, he just has so much personality, and he's still big and intimidating. So, anyway, rest in power, and God bless him, and God bless his family.
Well, that brings us to our next topic, and we are going to, of course, this, like I said, tough week in wrestling, especially with also the passing of Terry Funk, who we all love dearly. Such a sweet man, and gonna miss him. But it's been fun hearing all the stories from everyone on the podcast this week that had interactions with Terry and telling some great stories. So, but speaking of stories, Pondwater, what's your predicament this week? I'm sure you're in the peed off at something.
My predicament is whether or not to talk about it, because honestly, I don't know anything. All I know is what I've heard, and it's honestly none of my business. But we're coming off of one of the greatest nights in professional wrestling. What AEW did at Wembley Stadium with All In. 81,105 paid. I may have just butchered that number, but I'm not off by more than 20. You had a great show, a packed stadium, and this should be the week that AEW takes their victory lap. Maybe they're forgetting to talk about what's coming up this weekend because they're riding the wave of what they just did in England. They sold more tickets to a wrestling event than anybody else in history. Anybody else. 5 years in. 5 years since the first All In, which was really not even officially AEW. 81,000 tickets sold. Legit 81,000 tickets. Nobody else has ever done that. And that should be their, that's what the story should be. But unfortunately, we have some more backstage drama, and that's all anybody's talking about. Now, I don't know who started it, who finished it, and don't care. Because they both ought to be ashamed for pulling the spotlight off of what should be very, very positive. And that's really my only opinion on it. I'm not going to speculate who's right and who's wrong.
It's just crazy that Tony Khan can't seem to get control of his backstage locker room. And I know, there's AEW fans. I was just on Twitter and saw an AEW fan list a long list of stuff that's happened in the WWE. And he started with Vince and Nails, which was like 1992. and then he brings up Brett and Shawn fighting in the locker room in 96 or 7. And it's like, the difference is all this stuff with AEW has happened in the last 12 months. It's not 25 years. There's an issue going on.
Well, also, if you want to use Vince and Shawn as an example, then put those guys in the ring next Sunday in Chicago. Make money off of it, because that's the difference. Brett and Shawn ended up being one of the greatest feuds.
Right.
The thing that I don't get is why did Jack get bent out of shape from what the stories I've heard, because somebody was looking out for his well-being?
Yeah, if that's a true story about real glass, then he can just screw all the way off, because that's stupid. Remember Goldberg with real glass?
Yeah.
I mean, the man almost lost his arm because of it.
And I think that's what was brought up was, he said, why are you using it? Goldberg almost lost his career because of it. And I mean, I see it. I mean, Punk's not a choir boy, but
no.
I just see it as he was actually doing the right thing and looking out for someone's well-being.
If Goldberg almost lost his career, I would encourage Goldberg to work with glass every night.
So would Mike Whitaker.
But, I mean, like I said, I don't know. But let's just say that CM Punk comes from an era where things were probably handled that way in the locker room, and Jungle Jack comes from an era of people that want to cancel you for every little thing that you do. There's a difference between wanting to kick somebody's ass and canceling somebody outright. And in a corporate environment, sometimes you gotta walk away. I don't know what happened, but it's just in this day and age, you're going to lose every time. It don't matter if you're justified or not. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't know what happened. I just know that all I've heard this week, and it's sad that it takes away from those men and women that work so hard on the biggest night in wrestling. I'm not talking about the quality of the card. I'm just talking about the sheer magnitude of what happened. I mean, of what they have managed to accomplish.
And I don't really care what happened. I just know there's two common denominators in this, along with a lot of the other stories. A, Tony Khan's lack of control. B, seems like CM Punk is in the middle of all of this every time. Now, I don't know that he started this when it sounds like Jack come up to him right before he's about to go out or whatever, but still, it's always drama around CM Punk in some way.
I think it's interesting on kind of the bigger issues, like you said, around surrounding Punk. So the whole thing with Adam Page and then Jack Perry, both of them went out on television to air their grievance. And to me, I think that, going to what you were saying, like, who in their right mind thinks that that's a good idea, that you would, that you say something like that on a national platform and you're not keeping the problem in the back?
Well, do it all day long, but then put it in front of the camera once you do it.
Yeah, but there's also a fine line.
Once upon a time, Edge was screwing Matt Hardy's girlfriend.
Yeah, but he wasn't going out to his matches saying, look at me and Lita, or just, like.
Yeah, but then what did they do? They put him out there with Lita in the ring and put him in bed.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I just think there's a fine line between working a real shoot thing into working an angle out of it. There's a fine line between that and then just going and shooting and being, what Amy's talking about. That comes across to the fan as whiny and bitchy and almost catty, I think.
Yeah, it's like I don't think you do that. I mean, not I don't want to say sticking to the script, but just that's
It's like nobody
people just
cares about your guys' little argument. No, it's really not that important to us. We'd rather see the show. You know what I mean?
right. Someone actually said, which I kind of think it's an interesting thought. Someone had posted, I think it was on Twitter, just talking about how thinking about in levels of famous or payment or however they do it of star power, that would be like Val Venus coming up to Austin and saying something to him out when
Yeah.
Val Venus is doing his match and kind of calling out Stone Cold. It's
Yeah.
kind of in a way like looking at what Jack Perry did
Yeah.
to
You got a point
CM
there.
Punk.
One of the
Well,
guys,
well,
one
yeah,
of the guys
I'll
from
make
Tie
another
and
point
Tie
along
telling
that vein,
Austin
though.
Austin.
Right. And
But,
I mean, but I
but
do
hey,
think for
what?
whatever reason, Tony Khan either um, he does either he doesn't do it or he does it in a way that is not as effective. I mean, I'm not really for sure, but there seems to be too many chiefs, not enough Indian, like too many people think they're at the same level. And I'm not saying that
Well,
they
but
should be crapped on, but I'm just saying there's got to be a hierarchy and you need to know what you can say, like you said, that all of this. I mean, I hope Jack Perry. I mean, I hope he made his point about glass. But like you said, the biggest event that they've ever done is being tainted by him saying, go cry me a river, it's glass or whatever. And
and that's my
so,
whole point is that's that because it doesn't matter. They could have had let's cure infectious diseases match. If so and so wins, all these diseases will magically go away. And he wins, and all these diseases magically go away. And why everybody should rejoice because all these diseases magically went away, something happened, and they're going to talk about the bad before they talk about the good.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
again, like I said, I'm not taking sides here, but I will point out that what you were saying about a hierarchy, whether the AEW locker room likes it or not, CM Punk's a big star.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and
He's a big star.
I think it comes down to this is what happens when you have a fanboy running a company rather than a businessman.
And so if he's a big star and a little star pisses him off, rather than wanting to whip his ass, go to Tony and say, hey, get rid of that little prick or I'm out of here. Use that kind of power. Because you mentioned Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Jeff Jarrett name dropped him in a promo, and Austin lost his freaking mind. And where did Jeff Jarrett go from there? He couldn't even get a match with him.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, let's quit sending Deborah out with him. Because, and I mean, you hear the story, it's kind of pettiness on Austin, but he had enough stroke to get it done. Am I right?
I mean, I hate to say this, but the day that CM Punk sat there and made Tony look like a bitch when CM Punk went off on everyone in that post pay-per-view scrum with the media, and Tony just sat there and let him just completely crap on the company. Can you imagine Vince McMahon letting Shawn Michaels do that? No.
Also imagine that Vince McMahon's not going to treat a press conference like a shoot either.
No, he's not.
Right.
I think that's dumb. That's a whole nother part.
Now, back to that situation. CM Punk had a reason to be pissed, and he called him out for because he had to deal with the Colt Cabana drama, because and everybody might want to try to take up for the Bucks and the Elite, but if you name one of your moves the Meltzer driver, it's safe to assume that you might think that they might have said something to the man. I mean, he called them out. They stepped up and he pulled their Punk card. So, I mean,
I know. I
agree. He shouldn't have done it in the press conference. And
go back in the locker room and do it where a man would do it. Go back and do it to their damn face in the locker room.
But he called them out in public.
I think that happened
and
too.
it shouldn't have happened on the press conference.
Yeah, I think he did that because
that.
Paige did that in front of everybody on a live promo.
That's what I mean. Again, I just think that
Again,
it's almost like that's
catty.
not professional.
It's not.
No, that's not professional to go out And that's where I'm wondering, like you said, there's no hierarchy.
But they're not
You
smart
know?
enough to build on it. Yeah, let them say it. And hey, guys, guess what? This stuff ain't real. And if it is real, say it's a working shoot. Get it out in front of the camera and make money on it.
I
But
mean,
not
I know.
these guys. Not these guys. They take an ass kicking where nobody sees it, and then they won't work together.
I
The
mean,
lawyers got involved.
I mean, look at Flair and Foley with that hardcore match that they had how many years ago because of something that Flair said in his book.
Yeah, called him a glorified stuntman.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen. I mean, to me, if Matt Hardy and Edge could work together, anybody could work together.
Yep.
mhm.
I will say this: when I saw that they were going to be back next year, 2024 for All in London, I started wondering, can I save up enough money in a year's time because I want to go. I can't even explain because my husband is not a wrestling fan. And so when I say to him, "Ooh, I want to go," he's like, "Why?"
Sean's
I
like,
don't
they
know.
got
I just
crappy
want
food in
to.
London.
I just want to go. I mean, it was it was a. Um, I watched it, and again, like you said, I really thought that it was one thing that I've always really liked about AEW. And now, granted, they don't do as many pay-per-views, which I think does work to their advantage. When they do a pay-per-view, it's a big event. Like the wrestlers get new gear, the entrances are a little bit different. They're trying. The stage is different. And I really thought AEW did a really good job with that, as always. And I just
Ready
seeing
for
all those
next year.
people there. Yes, and seeing all those
Well, you know what
people
I think
there.
would be cool? I
Love
was thinking, Edge might be around here pretty soon. How cool would it be to the Hardys against Edge and Christian in London next year?
Take it.
But the only problem I have, I mean, yeah, they don't have a lot of pay-per-views, but now with him guaranteeing that there's going to be back-to-back pay-per-views within 7 days of each other again, I just think that's you don't leave yourself enough time to book the second show.
Well, All Out,
It's
if they're going to
odd.
do All In as a pay per view, then All Out needs to be a television special.
Yeah, he said that they're doing it the same way next year. He's already come out and said it.
Well, we'll see how much of a financial flop this one is.
Exactly. So,
Because can't everybody do that 2 weeks in a row and to put a button on the Palm Water predicament, y'all. Let's celebrate wrestling when it needs to be celebrated,
yes.
and leave all the drama and take that drama to your mama.
That was a long predicament. We went into a whole
That was a
rigmarole.
predicament.
Rigmarole.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I know what you're
I don't
saying.
know.
Rigmarole. Rigmarole.
Rigmarole. Rigmarole, I think, is the word. I can't even say word now.
What's next, Bober?
Oh,
It's still your show. No, not me. My show in name only. You're
All
the
right.
boss.
well, I think we got trivia with the great Amy Vaughn.
Woohoo! Yeah, we do. So what we did this week again is that we took it off of the inspiration from last week, and we are going to say, how well do you know your mics in wrestling? Okay.
All right.
All right. First one. I was born May 14th, 1968 in Omaha, Nebraska. It's on the tip of your tongue, isn't it?
I'm going to say,
I know it.
I'm going to guess Iron Mike Sharp for every answer. Is that okay?
You can.
Mike
It
Graham?
is not. It is not Iron Mike Sharp. It is not Mike Graham.
Okay.
Did you say you know it, Palm Water?
He thinks he does.
No,
Okay.
no, because
Oh.
his name's not Mac.
I
That
began
does
my
help.
yeah, that does help. I began my wrestling career wrestling for Catch Wrestling Association under the moniker Bruiser Mastoni between 1991 and 1994.
Oh. God.
Any guesses?
Nope.
Okay, the guy's 55 years old now.
So he
Okay.
didn't give it up much too long ago.
No.
He could still be wrestling.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. All right, next clue. Over the next several years, I wrestled in a variety of
Mike
wrestling
Awesome.
promotions.
Mike Awesome. That's where I was going too.
It's not Mike Awesome. I wrestled in the WWF, ECW, USWA, and CWA, but yet never staying super long. So he wrestled a bunch of places, but he never stayed very long anywhere.
Mike Davis?
Nope. All right,
No,
let's give him that
we're
last
stumped.
clue. I'm mainly known for my WWF gimmick, where I was a
Mantar.
half man, half
Oh.
What the
animal.
heck was his name? It was the guy who did Mantar.
It is
What?
the guy who does Mantar.
That was
Do
Al
you know
Snow.
his name? No.
No. No.
Wasn't it? No, who was it?
All right, his name was Mike Halleck.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
now
just
how
died.
the
He
hell you
died this
think we're
year.
gonna get that?
Yeah, he died
Well, he
this
just
year.
passed
actually.
away.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just
Oh,
passed away.
I must have missed it, like I did most of his career, I guess.
Well, like I said, he didn't stay anywhere very long. So, but yes, Mr. Mantar, Mike Halleck, passed away.
It's Mantar. How about
You got us on that
Mantar
one, Amy.
meets-
Do what?
You got us
I
on that
know.
one.
Woohoo.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was might be
Okay.
a first.
I'm done. I know. I did really good. All right, y'all ready for the second one? We only
Yeah.
have 4. We're just gonna
Okay.
keep it light. This one, I was born October 21st, 1965, in Tampa, Florida. Okay.
Mike Graham.
No, it is not Mike Graham. All right, next.
Mike Sharp.
Not Mike Sharp. Next clue. I received training from Boris Malenko and began my wrestling career wrestling the Florida independent scene.
Mike Rotundo.
Mike Rotundo.
Nope.
Hmm?
This is fun. All right, next one. We'll do that one. I wrestled for many promotions: WWF, ECW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, New Japan. But I am best known for my time in WCW. Any guesses? Any guesses?
Nope.
This is so fun. Okay, next question. Next one.
Mhm.
Mike Awesome is my cousin. I encouraged him to get into wrestling like me and helped him get a job at WCW. Do y'all know who Mike Awesome's cousin is?
Mike Sharp.
No, it is not Iron Mike. He's
Mike
not
Hunt?
on here at all. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you.
Dave said
No.
Mike Hunt.
I heard
Has anybody
Oh,
seen
wow.
Mike Hunt?
you nasty.
Wait, are we in Porky's?
All right, I think this last one maybe will help you. My uncle also wrestled
Mike
in WCW.
Mediocre. Darren Staley just popped me with Mike Mediocre in the chat.
Y'all are sick. My uncle wrestled in WCW, but it was almost a year and a half into my wrestling career there before we made our relation public through an invite into the NWO.
Oh,
Mike Jones.
it's that. Is
Is that
it
Virgil?
Virgil.
It's
No.
not Virgil.
Is it Horace Hogan? And I don't know his real name.
It is Horace Hogan.
Yeah.
Well, okay, put it together. What do you think his real name is? If we're
Mike
going by
Boulder.
Yeah.
Mike
Boulder.
Mike Balea.
Mike Balea is Horace Hogan. Now,
Another one for the good guys at BOBER.
exactly. Mike Awesome
Yeah.
is his cousin on his mother's side, and then of course Hulk Hogan is his uncle off his father's side. So, talk about some.
Look at me coming in with Horace Hogan on your ass, Dave.
Exactly, you did really good.
Wow.
I know.
I didn't even get the last name right.
But I was gonna say, isn't Virgil's real name Mike too?
Mike
Yes, it
Jones. Who?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Virgil. Virgil
he
is not
lives
on
here.
this list.
Unfortunately, he lives in Pittsburgh.
I feel like that should get more points than my Ray Stevens answer last week, but okay.
I don't know, but you did an impression. That was
That's true. There
that
was no
where you
impression.
got the extra
I
point. Yeah.
unfortunately I haven't worked on my Horace Hogan impression in a while.
All right, next one. I was born December 27th, 1965 in Titusville, Florida?
Mike Graham,
Mike
It's
Sharp.
not Mike Graham. Not Mike Sharp.
Mike Rotundo.
Not Mike Rotundo.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, next one. I also received training from Boris Malenko and formed a tag team with Kip Winchester. We were known as the Long Riders.
Oh yeah, I know Kip.
It's so silly. Okay.
He tag
Michael
teamed with
Sam Houston.
he
Nope.
tag teamed with Chip Beretta.
Nope.
Kip and Chip. You remember them?
I began my run in WWF in 1993, and I won the tag
Mike
team
Rotundo.
championship on 3 different
Oh.
occasions with my brother.
Oh. Hmm.
Any idea?
Oh, it's the Road Warriors. It's Mike.
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 No, that's
Nope.
what I was thinking too, Dave. But
No, I was gonna say
they
Hawk's
debuted
too
before
young,
93.
or that's
Nope.
too young to be Hawk.
Nope. it
Wait a
is
minute.
not.
Wait a minute. Is this one of the smoking guns?
Do you want me to do the next question?
Billy Gunn, Bart Gunn.
What's his real name? Bart Gunn.
What is Bart Gunn's real name?
I don't know. Maybe it's Bart.
I worked in several different promotions after my WWF run, spending a majority
yeah.
of my time in Japan.
Three-time champion. What's she say?
I got
Okay.
I got headphones on. She was muffled.
Okay, I think the next one will definitely, but you got to tell me his name.
Oh God.
I did participate
Yeah.
in a brawl
It's
for
Bart
all.
Gunn.
I was right.
What the
I
heck?
It
don't
doesn't
know.
matter what his name is.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it does. At least fake it. Say Mike something. I
Um,
mean, not
Um,
Mike Jones.
Bart
Mike Smith.
or Mike?
knocked
Ma-
the F out
Yeah,
by Butterbean.
that's what I was gonna say. Mike, Mama said knock you out. Is that his
Speaking of
last
Butterbean,
name?
Is
I
it
got an autographed
Mike
picture of
Tyson?
Butterbean in my wrestle crate this week.
Is Stephanie? Can you put up his name? Because I'm not sure how
Oh,
to say his last
that's why
name.
she
You
wants
can't
us to
even
know
say
it.
it. You want us to guess it? Then
That's
I
why
got
she-
it right.
That's why she wants us to say it so she can
Yeah,
see
we
it.
She
don't
doesn't
let
have it.
Bart Gunn after that.
Okay, it is Mike, and it's Polchloppek.
Yeah.
No,
No
that's
idea.
Mike sounds like he had a seizure.
Well, it's
Polachek or something. I don't know.
Polachek, maybe so, but it's Michael. That is Bart Gunn. So,
Not
Next
too many,
one.
not too many Polish names in Bloomfield, Kentucky.
exactly. Okay, next one. And if if you two don't get this one off of this clue,
Mike
I'm
Sharp.
gonna be mad. I'm gonna bust you in your list. I was born July 22nd, 1965 in Chandler, Arizona. We all remember July 22nd is my birthday. And I tell you who I share my birthday with every year on my birthday.
And we
God.
listen. And we listen
I
very
don't
well.
get that. I don't know that inside clue.
Okay. Next one. I currently work in
Oh.
talent
Yeah,
development.
that'd be
for
Michael
WWE.
Hickenbottom.
John Michaels. Michael Hickenbottom.
Yay! Very good. And I just went on to say, you see it. I worked in all these different promotions. I never left to wrestle for another company after I started my singles run in WWF.
I was a
Several
huge
nicknames.
asshole for 4 years. I think
He's
that's
Well-
still better wrestler than Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just giving you the clues. So, well, you actually
I
have
got
one
my
more.
hair pulled out by Bret Hart because I'm a pussy.
Yeah.
Oh, you. Those are the clues you needed. You couldn't get July 20. I told you all. I share my birthday
Oh,
with
Farmer
Shawn Michaels,
Ohio.
Thunder
We got another
Rosa.
one?
we got
Just
another
more.
one.
I'm sorry.
And I
one
can't
more.
guess Mike Sharp because I know he wasn't born in 1980.
It is not Mike Sharp. I was born October 8th, 1980, in Parma, Ohio.
Hey, didn't she say we only had 4 of these?
I thought
Yeah.
I only had
She
4,
lied.
but I
She
lied.
can't
I had
count. She
5.
don't know the people's names. I guarantee you, when she did this week's trivia, it was. I'm gonna get these bastards. These
Exactly.
assholes. I got them.
You got something else to do?
No.
So just sit back and do the trivia.
So this
Lord.
guy is 43 years old or getting ready to be.
Okay, next question. Our next clue. Being in the spotlight is in my blood. I have been on WWE TV for almost 20 years.
Mike
Mike
Mizanin.
Mazzari.
Mike Mazanik.
The
Yeah.
Miz, very
Hey,
good.
yep.
I married my fellow WWE diva Maurice in 2014. He is their only what I forget. I think that he's their only two-time Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he is
props
one.
to the Miz too, because his impersonation of LA Knight on Raw this week was fantastic.
Dude, it took me a minute to realize it wasn't LA Knight. I was like, man, LA Knight's kind of sucking this week. And then I realized it wasn't LA Knight, and then I was like, this is really good.
Oh,
The Miz is very
Darren
good.
Staley guessed Mike Literis. Was that it? Was that the answer?
No.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
I was just checking.
that is all that I have. I'm
I bet he
sorry
can't
that
find
I-
him.
Oh, no.
You did a good job stumping us on this one.
I
You did. You
know.
kicked our ass.
We do not know our mics.
Do not know your mics, but that's okay. That's why I did the trivia to help educate. And who do I share a birthday with? Shawn
HBK.
I feel so bad for you, Amy. I'm sorry.
You know, sometimes when you're getting your ass kicked the way that Amy just kicked our ass with trivia, sometimes you'll go to the outside and you'll grab a belt and go for their
Uh-oh.
head with it.
Look at that one. That one's pretty.
That is pretty. I like the blue.
So do you need a belt to hit your co-host in the head with? If you do, Big Time Belts has got you covered. High quality, low prices. Big Time Belts on Facebook. You got a wrestling promotion? You need belts? Look at those tag belts and look at that junior heavyweight belt. You'd be proud to send your champions out to the ring. SWA just replaced all their belts, and they use Big Time Belts because they know that Big Time Belts has high quality at low prices and can make your champion look outstanding. Maybe you want a belt that has your favorite sports team on it. Maybe you want a belt that's got for your high school or your kid's soccer team or whatever to motivate them to do a better job. Big Time Belts can hook you up. Muhammad Zubair can take your dreams, turn them into art, put them on leather, and send them to you. Maybe you just want to walk around the house and feel like you're a badass. That's what it'll do. I'll throw a belt over my shoulder. I'll walk around here like I'm king shit on Turd Mountain. Everybody needs a belt. And you can give them, they're affordable. You're saying, Dave, I can't spend money on belts. My wife would not speak to me. Big deal. It's football season. You don't want to talk to her right now anyway. But she'll be pissed. Yes, she will be pissed. But I got 75 belts, and I'm here to tell you, brother, she will get over it. Big Time Belts on Facebook. Find them as the Facebook group Big Time Belts. Muhammad Zubair will do you an outstanding job. If you need help getting in touch with him, reach out to me, and I will put you to him, and he will have you wearing championship gold in no time at a very, very affordable price. And we thank him for sponsoring our podcast.
Yeah.
And
tell
you
us
know
about
what?
that belt that
That's
you
what I say.
have.
This is
It was in the promo, was it? Or it was in the commercial?
If you're not watching the video, it's a baby blue strap. It's got some I don't know. I think American flag on the side panels.
it's the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team title.
Nice. I
It was-
like that.
Ric Flair held that with oh man, I just went blank on who his tag team partner was.
Was it Steamboat back then?
Wasn't Steamboat. John Studd.
And
Well,
you know
John
what? The
Studd.
good thing about buying a belt from Big Time Belts is that you can put your wife over every night and have a title change, and you can have a different finish every night. So you never, it'll be good.
Oh yeah. Right there.
Oh, look at
I
that.
like it.
Whip that robe open and say, "Hey, baby, the champ is here."
Happy loves it every time Dave does it.
That's a shoot.
And Dave doesn't even strap the belt on behind him, but he still holds it up.
Oh.
Well, what's next on our
Wait a
agenda
minute.
here?
Andrew Hermes is talking some fake news over in the chat. 90,000 people at Memorial Stadium for a volleyball game?
Yes, that is a true statement. That is not fake.
Yeah,
No kidding?
that's it. University of Nebraska,
Yes,
Legit?
that-
legit.
Wow. Well, roll tide on that.
There's that. All right. Bober picked some matches for us to talk about, I think. Right?
Calm down. We're talking
Well,
hockey.
Oh, we're going hockey first. Okay.
We're going hockey first. As you can tell by our jerseys, I'm a fan of the Dallas Stars with our head coach, Pete DeBoer, our captain, Jamie Benn. We got Pavelski, Rupe Hintz, Miro Heiskanen, Jason Robertson, Tyler Sagan, and Jake Ottinger. Otter is what we call him.
Otter, huh? Sagan looks cute. It's kind of hard to tell. That's
Sagan
all.
is cute.
Let me get my glasses on here. so I can see.
I've met a few otters in my day. Andrew Hermes knows about those.
And Bober is a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, I don't know that
Go
one.
ahead, Bober. Introduce us to your team.
All right. We have our head coach, Mike Sullivan, American coach. It's won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pens. Our captain is Sidney Crosby, one of the top 4 greatest players in the NHL history. Followed by Evgeny Malkin, who wrongly was omitted from the NHL's top 100 players when they did that a couple years ago for their 100th season anniversary. You have Jake Gensel, who unfortunately we starting the season out, is one of our top goal scoring wingers. I had to have ankle surgery a couple weeks ago, so he'll miss the start of the season. Chris Letang, quality defenseman as long as he can stay healthy. Unfortunately, he has had some issues where he's actually suffered 2 strokes since he's been playing.
Oh wow!
He has like a small hole in his heart that has caused the
Lord.
problem. He had one last year, and he had one about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. But he's still able to play, and when healthy, he's one of the best defensemen in the league. Ricard Raquel was someone that we got a couple years ago from Anaheim, has been a staple on our top 2, one of our top 2 lines. Good goal scorer, key power play contributor. Goaltender Tristan Jarry, who another one when healthy is one of the top guys one of the top goalies in the league.
He looks like he's 14.
Yeah, he really does. We got rid of Matt Murray in favor of him. I'm not a fan of Matt Murray to begin with, but Toronto can keep him. And newly acquired defenseman Eric Carlson from San Jose. Sorry, Brandy and Mark Nelson, but we probably took your best player. And he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Won the Norris Trophy for the best defenseman in the league last year, and this year he's going to be a Penguin.
We got Matt Duchene from Nashville.
Yeah,
And-
I like that. I like that acquisition. You got him for nothing, basically.
Yeah, I like it too.
I was going to say he was bought out, I believe. So I mean, you got him at bargain basement there.
We got Sam Steele and Craig Smith too.
Yeah.
Craig Smith didn't really have a good year last year, so hopefully he'll rebound this year. But I mean, he's a good veteran player.
Yeah, he was.
We got a lot of kids on our team.
Yeah, I was going to say Boston and Nashville, if I remember correctly, with him.
Yeah, it's like Boston was last year, and he didn't have a great year.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we,
I want to interject and just ask, what makes you, both of y'all, what makes you such huge fans of these particular teams? So, Dave, why do you love the Stars so much? And Mike, why are you such a huge Penguins fan?
Dave, you can go first.
Well, the Minnesota North Stars were were they were previous. The Dallas Stars came from Minnesota. The owner Norm Green moved the team. Minnesota will tell you that we stole their hockey team. I mean, this was 30 years ago. We didn't steal their hockey team. You some bitches weren't supporting them. Norm Green up and moved them to be successful, and now we got them. But also the fans in Minnesota would tell you they invented hockey. So, F the Minnesota Wild, then, now, and forever.
Well, sorry,
But
fans
they
of
came to
Minnesota.
town in '93, and if you go to a hockey game, you fall in love with the game. Sometimes you can't. I mean, for me, watching it on TV, I got to go as a kid because we had the Dallas Blackhawks when I was a little kid, and I just remember a lot of fighting. But then when they moved to Dallas, we'd go to the games, and it was just a great atmosphere, a fun environment to be in. Hockey players are the toughest athletes, bar none, of any sport. They're wearing all that equipment. And it gets wet, so it's heavy. They hardly ever slow down. It's a fast-paced game. The skill level that they can take that little puck and with the stuff they do with that stick and on skates. I mean, when I used to go ice skating in high school, I had a girlfriend like to go ice skating, and we'd go ice skating, and I'd do good just to get around the ice for a couple skate, let alone backwards at a high speed.
A couple skate. I love
Yeah.
it. I'm just kidding.
I did that once and ended up on my ass so much. My ass was so wet on the 2-hour drive home. I was so
Oh yeah, because they had the fast skate, just like going roller skating but on ice. And I know
But
that
you're right. I mean,
I
you
was
just
hauling ass
can't.
and trying to do that crossover. And
You were
skates
trying
come
to
out from under
impress
me,
her.
and I slid across the ice and hit the board, and I was soaked too.
So you were trying to impress your girl by doing some fancy flipping, and it didn't hit the mark.
No,
No triple axles for you.
no,
he
no,
was,
no.
he was just trying to double dutch.
But no, I fell in love with the Dallas Stars 30 years ago, and it's just.
So you've been a ride and die. This is your team.
I
and
would
you've been with them
rather
for 30 days. For 30
if
years.
you offered me tickets to any sporting event, I'm going to take Dallas Stars hockey over anything. If you gave me the Cowboys, the Mavericks, the Rangers, or the Stars, I'm going to take the Stars all day, every day. And where I like to sit on the end of the arena, up towards the top, where the Stars are on offense twice a night. Oh, twice, because they change every period. There's 3 periods.
Okay.
But up from the top, I can watch the whole game unfold. Now, sitting down on the glass is fun too, but I always enjoy the games up top, just for that reason, because I can watch it. My lovely wife's not a fan of sitting up top.
Does she like hockey? Stephanie
Loves
is
it.
a hockey.
We watch
She
it.
loves it, but she wants to be up. I'm with you, Stephanie. I want to be right there so I can see everything.
Oh yeah,
You like being up top.
You know how frugal she is. I mean, we were paying to watch hockey before we could watch it on ESPN.
Yep.
I like it. Okay, Mike. What's your
I
love of the Penguins?
as a child, I come from a single parent family. Mom would take me to games as a kid. I fell in love with the sport then. We had season tickets for the Steelers, and we would go to as many Penguin games as we could. We never were season ticket holders until the late 80s. But we would go to as many games as possible. Now, as a child, yes, we would always sit up close in that. Becoming an adult and having to pay for myself, I'm going for the cheaper side. And, tickets now are just, it's ridiculous, the price to sit down low. I'm also like Dave. I have season tickets where I sit up high. I sit actually behind the net where we defend twice, and I enjoy that. I've gone to about, I'd say, 12 to 13 different venues to watch for road games. I've seen, we won 5 Stanley Cups since I've been going to games. I've been actually at, none of them have been won in Pittsburgh, but I've been to 2 of them to see them win the cup. I was in Detroit in 2009 to watch them beat the Red Wings in Game 7, and I was in Nashville in 2017 to watch them beat the Predators.
Isn't that amazing that they could win 5 Stanley Cups and none of them closed out at home?
Yeah, we've only had one opportunity ever to win it at home, and that was against San Jose in 2016, and they shit the bed that night. But their first Stanley Cup came against the Minnesota North Stars in the 90-91 season.
I'm surprised how long they were a team. It took them that long.
Pittsburgh got their team. They were part of the original expansion in the NHL, where they doubled in size from 6 to 12 teams, and that was in 1967. 1967-68 was their first season.
Oh.
They went. It was the original 6 were Boston, Chicago, Detroit, the New York Rangers, Toronto, and Montreal. Then, whenever they doubled in size. They added Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, the California Golden Seals, was it the North Stars, and who was the other team? Shoot.
Domino,
I forget.
Chris,
I
one of my
agree with
favorite
Domino,
parts.
Chris.
Yeah.
I agree.
One
I
of
don't
my
have
favorite
any
parts of every
yeah.
NHL season is when the Penguins get eliminated.
Yeah, he's still bitter about us beating Detroit. Domino's a Red Wing fan.
Oh, he's a
We
Red
were
Wing
actually
fan.
at the same. We didn't know each other then, but we were at the same game where Pittsburgh beat Detroit to win the cup in 09.
I want to go back on something you said, just because out of curiosity. So,
Yeah.
you said that you came from a single parent home, but your mom took you to these games.
Yes.
Was she a fan, or was she doing it because you were? You know what
No,
I'm saying?
my mom loved hockey. We had before the Penguins. We had minor league teams, and as she was growing up, she went to games, and she kind of passed it on to me.
Oh, love it.
And like I said, I've been going to games since the 70s. I've always been, I'm like Dave. I would rather go to a Penguin game than a Steeler game.
Now,
I'll take hockey over anything. I mean, hockey's the only true sport where they play, where there's actually, where you're on for the whole time. The full 60 minutes they play, it's all real gameplay. It's not like, football where you're only getting 12 minutes, 13 minutes of actual gameplay. Baseball is what baseball is. Basketball, you have a lot of walking and everything where it's constant moving. I mean, I play what's called St. Louis was the last one. Thanks, Domino. Forgot about St. Louis.
Did you?
I'm
sorry.
I was going to say,
Growing up
I
in Pittsburgh, though, y'all played hockey up there, right?
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
play.
Hockey was a thing in Pittsburgh.
I would with growing up, we would always play street hockey.
Hmm.
Hockey, ice hockey didn't really take off until Mario Lemieux came.
Okay.
The boom of ice rinks after 1984 probably quadrupled
And so, to show
in the
my
Pittsburgh
ignorance,
area.
I'm assuming that's a player that came to
Yeah,
play at Pittsburgh.
Mario
Okay.
Lemieux is he
Super
goes
good.
debate between him and Wayne Gretzky is the greatest player.
There's no
Okay.
debate. It was Gretzky.
Yeah, there's no debate.
Oh, I don't know. Put it like you put all that talent that Gretzky had with Mario in Mario's early years. I think some of those records are not Wayne's anymore. But I mean, no one could breathe on Gretzky back then. You know,
Hey.
everyone looked at cross-eye. You had 5 people jumping him and beating the hell out of him. Whereas Mario didn't have that.
Domino said, "Shout out to Oakland for adding the Seals to their list of lost teams." Where did Oakland go?
Yeah, they will always go somewhere.
Where did I don't even remember if I think Domino can probably look this up, but did they move to Cleveland? And then then when Cleveland's team ended up getting absorbed by the Minnesota North Stars. Yep. Okay. So yeah, the Oakland Seals became the Cleveland Barons, and then Minnesota absorbed the Cleveland Baron players at some point.
Okay.
And Minnesota is where your team came from, Dave, right? So
Yes.
could be a golden seal. Okay.
Now,
So
but we didn't have hockey here. I mean, not in Texas. I mean, when I grew up in Dallas, but after the Stars got here, they started developing youth hockey with and Dr. Pepper sponsored the Dr. Pepper Star Centers, and now hockey is played. I mean, 30 years later, hockey is very vibrant in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They have leagues. As a matter of fact, I was going to get on an over 40 league and an over 40 instructional league, and the only reason that I didn't is because I couldn't afford it. Because
hockey is an expensive sport.
Well,
especially as a child.
It was bad enough that I was playing indoor soccer and getting hit in the face with a soccer ball because my face is reconstructed. So, but I knew that getting hit in the face with a hockey puck was going to be bad.
Oh, we're one of those.
Don't they wear helmets?
You'd be all right.
Well, yeah, but that a good goalkeeper helmet's over $2,000.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, you could. I mean, if you're not playing goalie, I mean, you could wear the full face cage. With the
I was going to play goalie.
Oh.
Hey, look, I couldn't ever be the quarterback. I couldn't ever be the pitcher, but I could be the goalie.
You could take a beating. You could be the goalie or the catcher, right?
And
little as I am, I could be the puck.
What you were saying about what they do with the puck on skates. I mean, I play it's called deck hockey. It's ball hockey here, and even just running, I can't do half the stuff that they do on skates.
So what's the dip? I mean, what did you say you play? I'm sorry.
It's called deck hockey. I mean, you play it. It's an organized league. You have the rink is a lot smaller than what the players are, and you're playing in tennis shoes. You're running.
Gotcha.
And you play with a hard plastic ball.
Okay.
And I've been doing that in organized leagues, for 33 years.
Oh,
now.
Fun. Are you playing now? You still play?
Yeah, I still play. I play on 2 teams.
We need pictures. Why are you holding this from us, Mike? I mean,
it's nothing big. I mean, it's recreational. I mean, it's not. It's semi-organized. I mean, we got to, we organize. We got. I run a team, and I'm on another team that somebody else does. Mm-hmm. But
hey,
I mean, it's organized where we have play. We have a league. You play season. 10-game season plus playoffs, and it goes year round.
Awesome.
Hey, is curling that game? Is curling the one that they do where they sweep the ice?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes,
couldn't
it
do
is.
curling. I don't sweep. Ask my wife.
That's my Olympic guilty pleasure.
Hey,
I
we're
love
gonna
it.
we're gonna break into this hockey talk real quick.
Yeah, that's deck hockey right there.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, look at you, get to wear the uniform and everything.
Nah, well, that isn't. I wouldn't go that far, but
Well,
man, that one that guy in the red up front kind of looks like Darius Kasparaitis.
hey, we got a run in. A special guest is going to join us real quick. Welcome to the Talking Wrestling and Hockey with Mike Bober. My close personal friend, Efren, host of the game event.
That guy in the red looks like Desmaris Kasparaitis. You got the show. You got the name of the show wrong, Pondwater. It's Talking Hockey and No Wrestling tonight with Pondwater and Bober. I was
Well, we're fixing
backstage
this.
20 minutes. Never mind the guy in the football outfit. Is he still here?
Oh,
He
Yeah.
went somewhere.
Yeah, Jay.
Hi,
and hey,
Bober.
don't think we're not going to circle
Hi,
back and talk
Efren, how
about
are
him
you?
turning his back to the camera, pissing a jar while we're recording.
I
Did he
will
really
be
do
out
that?
in
I
Phoenix
was
in
not
January.
When I cut it up and put it on the internet, it's going to be you pissing in a jar.
I was turning my back to him reading the Pittsburgh Penguins
Oh,
like they do at the stands of a
Just another
doing?
episode of Talking Hockey and No Wrestling with Mike Bober and Podwater Dave.
Did
Hey,
you hear
Amy,
my
how was your
chat?
hockey trivia tonight?
It was fabulous. It was all about mics.
Yeah?
they kicked our
Yes.
she kicked our ass, Efren.
I did good.
Did you?
Do you have us
I
on
was
in the
expecting
background,
it to be about
Efren?
wrestling. I wasn't. What?
Do you have
I'm
us
sorry?
on playing through a speaker?
Yeah, it's called air conditioning. And okay, we'll take off speaker. That's not a problem. Whatever.
Well, it was the echo.
It's only 113 in my car. So, whatever. I am here to remind you all that StarCast 6 goes live Friday night on Premier Streaming Network. And you have a chance to win a free code to watch StarCast all weekend long if you go to my social media page and fill out my game event survey. One person who filled out my survey is going to win a free code to watch StarCast 6 all weekend long, every show, $50 value for filling out my game event survey. Game event goes on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Whoa.
It killed his plug.
Man.
Darren, all you gotta do is the survey, babe.
But I will retweet
So-
retweet the link to fill out Efren's survey. If you didn't hear him, Efren has a survey for the game event. Click on it, fill it out. Doesn't take 5 minutes at the most. And you can win a code
Worst
to watch
connection ever.
StarCast.
I think he said you win a free Coke at StarCast. Is that right, Efren? A Coke at StarCast? Is that what you get?
A free code to watch StarCast. And there's going to be a lot of great panels at StarCast this year. I really hate that I can't be there personally. But
It
we will
definitely-
retweet from on Twitter at Ref Super Dave PWD, at PWD Pod on Twitter. We'll make sure we get that. We'll get that out.
You're right, Dave. They've got some really great panels. I would love to hear the one that they're going to do with Rucker and the music. I'm not musically inclined at all, and it fascinates me how people can, whatever beat. They have a beat in their head and they can put it on paper, and we get these awesome entrance songs. I just think, like I said, I think that would be a great panel to watch, and like you said, there are going to be lots of different things that are going to be awesome.
At the first StarCast, Jim Johnston was there, and
that's so
and it was just
awesome.
him and a keyboard and a guitar, and he would tell the story, and he'd just start. like the Undertaker music, and he'd play it and tell us how he'd come along with it. And it was my favorite panel from StarCast 1.
Yes,
I just
he
want to
did.
say I disagree with the chat. I think if you look hard enough, you could get free Coke at StarCast.
You
But
stop. But
Depends on what kind of Coke you're looking for.
I guess I think that Jim Johnston did a podcast or with conversations with Conrad maybe, and
Yes.
was that I think he did it with them. And again, like you said, he was just so musically inclined. Like he just had a thought, and you just started playing. And seeing that process was quite interesting. Just because I am not. I mean, I'm tone deaf as it is, and I think that would be really cool. But anyway, I'm with you, Pondwater. I am beyond. I was telling y'all before we got on. I'm so jealous of everyone that's getting to go to StarCast.
now that Amy said she's tone deaf, my new goal in life is to get her to sing on this show.
So let's put a button on our hockey talk.
Oh,
Bober.
yes, I'm sorry.
How the Penguins going to do this year?
I think we'll at least make the playoffs, maybe win a run, but I don't think they're a cup contender.
Now, y'all did this last season. Y'all didn't have a winning season. And how many seasons was it since the last? This was like how many years was it since y'all had a losing season?
We had the longest active record in North American sports of making the playoffs, and that was 17 years.
And they cleaned house.
That was the longest current record.
That's a Braves run there. The Braves kind of went on one of those runs back.
I mean, Pittsburgh ownership said, "Nay, we're not having this."
Oh no, they fired the coach.
All you guys are out of here.
Yeah. No, they kept the coach. They fired all the front
manager.
office guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many games?
They said, "Hey, you, quit changing that paper in the copy machine and get your losing ass out of here."
Yeah, really.
Well, that's what we get for hiring a flyer to be our general manager. So,
how many games are in a season? Like when you're
82.
talking about 82? My goodness. Okay.
Runs from October until April is the regular season, and then the playoffs go till the beginning of June.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, let me ask you, Bober, what's the longest hockey game that you've ever attended?
I was at the 5 overtime game in, I believe it was the 2000s playoffs against the Flyers.
Oh wow!
Where we lost that game. I believe it was 2-1. Unfortunately, Keith Primo scored right in front of me.
Oh.
I refereed a five overtime high school basketball game this year.
Yeah. I was at there was a 4 overtime game in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2008 up in Detroit, where had the Red Wings won, they would have won the cup, and we scored. We won in the 4th overtime.
Is there a rule on how many overtimes you can have? Do you just keep going?
In the playoffs,
they're full
go
periods
till there's
too.
a winner. You just play a full 20-minute period, and you play till there's a winner.
Oh no, not a full period.
And I went 3.
I mean, they'll for playoff overtime, they'll set the clock at 20 minutes. If you don't score in that first 20 minutes, they'll take an intermission, clean the ice, come back out, but they play till there's a winner.
Yeah.
It's just a regular period.
Uh-huh.
Now, regular season, they do 5 minutes.
And then the shootout.
Oh, okay.
If nobody scores in a shootout.
Oh, okay. I'm learning a lot. As you can tell, I don't know much about hockey. Here in Kentucky, that's just not.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah. The bottom half, the southern half. We're learning.
I was going to say, I thought Kentucky used to have a minor league team. The Thoroughblades or something. I want to say they were a East Coast team, which is kind of like Double-A.
Uh-huh.
Double-A baseball.
It was going to be
Thoroughblades is a great name for a Kentucky hockey team.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then Cincinnati had the Cyclones.
Yeah, we had the Cyclones. Actually, someone that grew up in my hometown when I was a kid died from a puck that like went through the glass or over or something and hit him in the head. Yeah.
Dang.
Well,
he was an old guy. He was like 70 or something.
That's not where I thought.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why they have the nets behind the goals now, because there was a child that got killed.
Yeah. Even if a puck gets out into the crowd, even if it doesn't look like it hurt anybody, They run down and check. I mean, they're Johnny on the spot checking on them. Even
Yeah.
if
Oh, well, good. Yeah.
I'm going to predict the Stars. This is our year. We're going to Stanley Cup. It's going to
I
be
can
us
see
in
that.
Vegas again, and I think we'll get them this year.
Yeah, hopefully Ottinger shows up in the playoffs this time.
Man, Ottinger couldn't do it by himself though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still defense. We're questionable on defense, and hopefully by the trade deadline, we'll strengthen our defense just a little bit. But
Did Vegas win this year? Did they win the cup, the Stanley Cup? Who won the Stanley
Vegas
Cup?
did.
Vegas
Okay,
did.
that's what I thought. Okay. Who did they play?
They beat Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, two great hockey markets in the finals there.
When
I
I
don't
think
know.
Vegas,
is
I think
supporting that
hockey.
team.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking for. I'm actually going out to the Penguin game in Vegas, and then we're gonna drive over to Phoenix in January to see them play in both places.
And
Who's we? Your mom? Is your mom
My
gonna go?
mom, yeah, my mom's. She used to have season tickets as well, but she gave them up. The people that she sat with, they all stopped going, and
Yeah.
it's just too much for her. I mean, she's older now, and it's too much. I still, I have tickets. She doesn't like where I sit because I'm too high up.
Oh.
She was like 2 rows behind the goal where we shoot twice, and I'm up.
Right. She's in Stephanie land at
Yeah.
where she likes to sit.
Yeah.
Well, so
If you want to cut one of the matches, that's fine.
well, we can. She's got. Well, we're going. Let's get started on them. I just like to close hockey talk by saying F Doomba. F Doomba. I hope your knees grow together, you piece of crap.
Where
right.
I forget where he signed.
Yeah, F that guy.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it wasn't with the Stars. He'd been the first star in history I ever hated. Of course, I used to say that about T.O., and they put a Cowboy jersey on him, and I got over that whole incident on the Star pretty quick. So, all right, Mike wanted to talk about 2 matches with WWE being how they are. We're not going to even try to watch along, so we're just going to talk about them. Mike, I noticed that both the matches you picked happened in Pittsburgh. Were you at these?
I was not at King of the Ring, but I was at Unforgiven.
Okay, well, let's cover King of the Ring. It's been done a million times. It's Mankind, Mick Foley versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. And we all know that this is the match that pretty much put Mick Foley on the map as a hardcore legend. Because shortly after the match started, Undertaker threw him off the cage. Now, I've seen this match a lot. And this is the first time I don't ever remember noticing that they almost fell through the cage right as soon as they got up there.
I remember.
Yeah,
If you remember,
that was the one thing. That was the one thing I noticed that I even caught too. I mean, I back in my head it was like, why did they go back up when they knew they almost fell through it the first time?
Yeah, as soon as they started walking, you could hear the straps just snapping. And you could see right here in this picture where they start to go through it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got over 500 pounds being held up by zip ties.
Yeah, and like Mike said, I couldn't believe they went on. Right as soon as that happened right there, my ass would be shitting myself, and I'd be scaling my little butt right back down the thing. But no, they're like, hell with it. Let's see what happens. Undertaker's ankle was already broke or whatever. If he goes through that thing right there, he may never wrestle or be able to stand up again.
Yeah, I could tell when he jumped down out of off the cage to get into the ring.
Yeah, he limped.
Once Foley went through, I remember watching this match live.
Yeah.
And when he went backwards through the cage, I was just like, dang, it just. And watching it back tonight, I watched it before we started recording, and I just couldn't believe. I mean, JR was magnificent on commentary.
Yeah.
I mean,
I totally forgot how quickly it was that he got thrown off.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
And
I think part of that is they went up there for that spot, and they wrestled around a little bit up there, but knowing how unstable it was, I think they kind of quickly went to the spot because they didn't trust doing more stuff on top.
Well, you
You
can
know,
even see Undertaker
Good
when he
idea.
comes back up, when Mick gets off and comes back to the ring and goes back up on top of the cage again. Undertaker goes to him, but Undertaker's walking on metal. He's not walking on chain
Yeah.
link.
yeah.
And that was the thing I didn't understand is why would he go back up?
Because I think Mick Foley had things in his mind that he wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Part of me thought,
You know,
I always thought that this spot where he went through the cage and landed on his back in the ring, I always thought I never thought the cage was gimmicked for it, but I'm wondering if that was a planned spot.
No,
it was not.
it
If you
definitely
read the
was not.
book,
We went
yeah.
to he had a one-man show here on the night of the 20th anniversary of this. And it wasn't planned.
I think it's in his book too.
And
Yeah.
he said because he was so out of it originally, that's probably
Look
what
at his
saved his life.
nose.
Because if he would have been
tooth.
able to jump up like he normally would have for that choke slam,
He
Mhm.
landed on his head. Yeah.
he would have gone through that cage with so much more velocity than what he did.
He would have
Yeah.
over rotated and landed on his neck, and that would have been a bad situation. He almost did anyways, but he landed just good enough. This is one of the toughest spots I think ever done in wrestling. The fact of how hard he hit the back of his head on that ring from 20 feet up above it, to the fact that the chair comes down with him and knocks his teeth through his nose, and then he comes back and he gets the tacks out. He's like, "Screw it, we're not done yet." It's just an
Right.
amazing feat.
And who
And then
knows
after
if
all
he
that, he
even-
still comes out for the next match
Yeah.
for his planned spot there.
yeah. I think kind of what you were saying, Dave. In a weird way, the match is like you said is unreal. But if you didn't have in your ear, uh, Jr. saying the things he was saying, he's broken in half, and just the magnitude of that he was creating. I mean, it is a great. I mean,
You could hear the urgency.
yes.
Get
Even as
somebody
I'm
out here.
watching-
I mean,
as I'm
he acts like
watching
it
these-
sounded like he got pissed that no one was getting out to check on Mick quick enough.
Right. And as I'm looking at these stills, I hear that. I mean, that is part of this match more than I would say on some other matches. I don't really know if I would say the commentary is part of the match as much as it is here.
Well,
And I
that's
believe-
because I was going to say I think that's because JR said they had no idea they were doing that spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think JR has said that before. He liked, and Tony Schiavone maybe too, they like not knowing
Yeah.
what exactly is going to happen so that you do get that reaction.
Tony said that he said that today. I listened to his podcast today,
Uh-huh.
and he said that he
Like I
didn't have any idea of any of the finishes last weekend, and he likes it that way.
I think
Yes.
it's just when as far as the commentating on this, they also had to fill a lot of time because Mick is laying there for a while, so you've got to tell the story and make it more imaginative while he's laying there. And I think JR did a great job of that throughout the whole
Man, look at that.
And I believe it's in Mick Foley's book. He says, Undertaker said, he looked down, I thought you were dead. Like, I mean, because again, that was a surprise that the fence gave away when he got choke slammed. He was not supposed to fall through like that. It was a surprise. And, in the book, he's like, Undertaker looked down and he was like, I thought you were dead. And then
I remember him saying how he asked Terry Funk, is he still breathing?
yes.
And
And then
we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Terry buying time for Mick and getting choke slammed out of his shoes, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I'm sure he
that-
just looked at Undertaker, and Undertaker's like, "What do you want me? Choke slam me, Mark."
your mother is a whore.
Oh, God bless
But
Terry
yeah,
Funk.
I mean, you can imagine that's one of the not fun, that's terrible. That's not a good word. You think about, like I said, we watch these things, especially when we're younger. And all of us besides Justin, because we're all a lot older. Then you go back and like these people in the ring, like you said, Terry Funk and all them, they probably thought he was dead. You know, like I mean, they're having all those emotions going on while on a pay per view. So you're trying to, like you said, choke slam me. Do something to me. You're trying to buy time. You're trying to figure out what's going on. You're having to do it under the lens of the camera that's on a pay per view. And so I just, like I said, I'm glad you picked this one, Mike, because again, going back and watching stuff, you miss those little pieces, but then you can look at it from all the participants. And like you said, JR probably thought he was dead. I mean, probably from being thrown off in the beginning, and then much
Yeah.
less everything else that happened. um, you know, that was really the first time that had been seen. I mean, I know now
There was
sometimes,
there was a lot of
you
on the
know,
fly work here at the end.
Yeah,
Like you
yes,
said, and
very much so.
I also love Mick waking up or in the days going back to the locker room and he looks at Mike Chioda and he goes, "Did I get the tax in?" Yeah, you did.
Well, well also whenever he asked, he said, "Did they stretcher me out already?" And they said, "Yeah," and he said, "Yeah." And then we can't do it again. I got to walk out.
Just on autopilot, man.
I
Just an
mean,
absolutely unbelievable feat of, I don't know, courage. I don't know what you call that. Craziness and courage all mixed up together.
Stupidity.
But
I
Mick
think,
Foley, this definitely, like Dave said, just cemented his legacy. And really, the fans adored him. He had to be a baby face after this. He became champion, the next year. And it really catapulted him to a superstar.
definitely, he definitely took wrestling to another level in a sense, because, like I said, you weren't seeing people now. Nowadays, we do, but like, you know, you don't see people getting thrown off of a person like him, especially. Like you don't see someone getting thrown off a cage like that. Like that was probably the beginning of some of the stuff we come to see now. What and you're just like, he's going to die. Like if they don't stop, whatever they're doing now. I think Darby
And
Allen. I think that's a common, thing to say. Like if
then
he doesn't be careful, he's going to die.
Dave and I got to see somebody else go off the top of a cage in
Who?
person. Shane,
Yes.
Oh,
30
oh,
WrestleMania 32. His
Yeah,
Hell in a Cell with
we were
Undertaker.
sitting on that side too, so we had a really good view of him going off of it.
oh.
Okay,
Again,
I was facing hard camera, and we were 50-yard line down in the lower bowl part.
mhm.
Yeah, I was on the floor, kind of towards kind of over.
By the announce table.
I was, if the ring, I was to the right side of the ring, kind of down like 5 o'clock.
Okay. If 12 o'clock was the stage or facing hard camera.
Okay, that's where you are.
What for your 5 o'clock? What are we using as 12?
Well, I mean,
We were at 7 o'clock from the entrance ramp.
7 o'clock from the entrance ramp.
Okay, so we were on opposite sides basically.
But
I would
even
have been
with
like
that,
3 o'clock.
even with that move, it wasn't off the top, right? Was he not on the side? Was he attached?
No, he
to
was
the
on
side?
top and he jumped.
Okay, but he wasn't thrown. He jumped.
No, he jumped willingly
Okay.
because Taker I believe, was on the announce table.
Okay. Which
Yeah,
one?
yeah, he
Well,
got him
must
on
have
the
been a
announce
different
table, and
one.
he was trying to go through him.
Gotcha. Okay. But still, like you said, this is like you said, King of the Ring. This particular match, I think everyone thinks about that when they think of Mick Foley. I mean, I just think it's hard not to. And it's a
Yeah.
great match to watch over and over. You miss things every time, or just think about what was the sentiment in the ring and what was going on in the back. Now that we know so much about gorilla position and all that stuff, you can only imagine what people were thinking and going through.
But I mean, this was easy to believe was real because it was. And Mike, can we do a bonus episode with you and do a watch along of the Angle Stone
Yeah,
Cold match?
whatever you guys want to do. Yeah, I'm fine with. I know we kind
we'll
of
have to
went.
do it where we're watching it and just describing what we're seeing. We can't put it on the screen.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Um,
I actually, this week was actually the first time I watched it since being there.
It was
Really?
incredible.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, that was
absolutely
the first
incredible.
time.
The
Yeah, and that was
Austin match. Is that what you're this match or the other one?
The other one. I've seen
Austin and Angle.
Austin and Angle.
I gotcha.
That was
I had forgotten. I'd forgotten how intense it was.
Yeah, and that was the first pay-per-view after 9/11. That was only 2 weeks after 9/11.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was 2 weeks after 9/11 happened.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
a lot.
And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any classic matches like we've talked about today this weekend from Pittsburgh.
And we got to see Karen Jarrett make an appearance at the end of it.
Yes, she did.
Before she was Karen Jarrett. Before she was Karen Jarrett.
Yeah, I think they were married at that time, but I'm not sure.
Not sure if they were married yet or not. Because there was some girl that jumping around, all excited, wearing
and she had short hair,
wearing a cutoff, like a crop top Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson
she had short hair
had the number one on
too.
it, like Evil Knievel used to have on his stuff, and she's jumping all
around.
I think
that was one of his old T-shirts.
And I was like, that's Karen Jarrett. That's Karen Jarrett.
Yeah, but now we got Payback in Pittsburgh on Saturday. So
you going?
You going?
Yeah, I'm going. James Elkarai and JB Games are coming in.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
We're all
I
going
remember.
together.
Yes, I remember Elkarai saying Pittsburgh. Doing like a time countdown.
Yeah, he's flying in on Friday night. I'm picking him up at the airport.
Is he having any
hang out for the weekend?
Being
What's
in
that?
Florida? Is he having any problems with the weather? Is his flight?
He's on the East Coast.
Okay. So he's
he
okay
would
right now.
probably just got residuals. But yeah, he didn't think he was going to have any issues getting out. And being that they're saying it's going to be back out in the Atlantic by tomorrow, he should be okay to fly in. But yeah, he's coming in, and JB I think's driving in on Saturday early afternoon.
Oh my
He's about 90 minutes away from me.
Megan Nelson
as
going
well.
with you?
Megan's going to be at StarCast.
Oh.
Yeah, she's going to StarCast. Well,
Yeah,
you
she'll
three
be at
guys
StarCast.
be good, at least as much as you can.
I was going to say, do you know Elkarai to behave?
Well, that's why I'm appealing to you, Mike. You're going to be the.
I'll be the responsible one.
JB Games is one of my he's one of my little ones now. He's young enough to be my son, so I treat him as such. So you are to take care of my baby boy when he's up there.
I will, because I don't want to end up like Brad next Top Guy weekend.
Hey,
that's right.
when y'all go drinking, I want you to go up to the bartender and order a pumpkin Perry. And when they ask you what that is, say just Pepsi and Jack. And then when the bartender says, "Would you like that in a glass?" Go, "No, not real glass."
I did see that. I saw that. It's either on Twitter or it was on Facebook.
Yeah, I stole it. I completely stole it off of Twitter.
Yeah,
I don't know who I stole it from to give them credit for it, but they probably stole it too.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I'll be going to see Megan's promotion next weekend.
Speaking of,
we're going to be
speaking
talking
of,
to them.
next week,
Yeah.
Megan Nelson will be here with Chris LaRusso and Brandon Kay from Rise Pro Wrestling, and we're gonna learn what's going on with Rise, and
like
Megan
said,
is the
Mike,
ring announcer. I mean, she's the interviewer.
Yeah.
And
like
Chris,
Mike said, they have a big event coming up on the 9th, I believe.
Yes, Saturday the 9th.
They'll be here to talk about that too.
Yeah, and then maybe whenever we do that other show, we could talk about Pittsburgh independent stuff.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
You bring it. I want to know more about the IWC that you were telling me about. Maybe we could bring on someone You and
I
several
I
pro
don't
wrestlers?
know. I mean, I'm not close enough, but I mean, I know that there is one wrestler in IWC that Pondwater is familiar with.
Ooh. Who?
Mr. John McChesney.
Oh,
your
ooh,
Oh.
your chest constricting a little bit when I say that name.
oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Now I know.
Hey, chops are not for the weak. I've been chopped plenty, and I'm not. It's not hyperbole when I tell you that John McChesney chops just as hard as anybody I've ever been chopped by, and I've been chopped by some hard hitters. I mean, the dude, and I've watched his stuff. He's a very, very talented wrestler.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's part of the IWC, huh?
He
Mhm.
works in IWC. He has a promotion up in Erie called Revenge, and
Oh.
then he also wrestles in another. These are the only ones that I've seen him in. I'm sure he also does some other ones, but there's another one that's about 45 minutes away from me. That's called Prospect Pro Wrestling.
Interesting.
As far as IWC goes, if you have Fight Plus, they're on there. They do
Okay.
put their shows on Fight Plus. Unfortunately, their next one is running opposite of Rise.
Oh,
Oh, they're doing something on the 9th?
Yes, they're also
I
doing
gotcha.
something on the night, but I don't know. I don't have Fight, so I don't know if they do have on demand. I'm sure they have on demand, but if you look International Wrestling Cartel, that's one, and then I think Rise is on that independent wrestling .org. I don't know. You might be familiar with one of those, Pondwater, the other independent stuff. It's one of those websites that have multiple independent
Mm-hmm.
uh, promotions on it that they televise. I believe that it's on one of those, but I forget what the
Cool.
name of it. I'm sure Megan and Brandon and Chris. Now I do know both, all Chris and Brandon. I have met, and they're great guys. So
Awesome.
you'll
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. Chris has
So-
trained a lot of people that you know of.
so be sure to join us next week for that. And great news, Amy. Great news, Justin.
I love great news. What
Our
is it?
YouTube channel has hit 150 subscribers.
Woo!
Onward
We
and
hit our
upward. Now the
goal.
press for 2.
That's right. We hit
Thank
our
you,
August
everyone that
goal.
has subscribed to us. If you haven't subscribed to us, please go to YouTube. Go to www.pwdpod.com. That will take you to our YouTube channel, and just please subscribe for us. Help us out. We're really trying to get to 500, and we got from 90 to 150 a lot quicker than we got from 0 to 90. So,
Sounds like the Steelers this year, Bober, just trying to get to 500.
You do remember who our coach is and the fact that he hasn't had a season under 500.
Hey, let's go around the room. Bober, how many Super Bowls has your team won?
I believe that's 6.
And then
Uh-huh.
Amy, what team do
One
you
for the
support?
thumb.
The St. Louis Cardinals. No, just kidding. I do know that there's a difference. No.
Oh,
Well, you had the St. Louis Rams that won a Super Bowl.
Well, I was going to say I tend to lean towards Nashville teams just because that in proximity. I don't know. Have they ever won?
Sorry about your luck then.
They've
That's
been
zero.
there.
That's
They've been
zero.
there, right? They've been
Yeah,
there.
you're in Justin's boat.
and my team has won 5.
What's
Yeah,
your team
I-
again?
I was at one of them.
My team is the Dallas Cowboys.
I was at
what
one of them.
decade did they? When was the last decade they won in?
Since 1995, Amy was their last one.
That's
what
what I
Super
was
Bowl are
thinking.
we on now?
I
50?
don't know.
I don't know.
30.
50 something.
Oh, it
See,
is
I'm
50,
57.
so I was
They've
thinking
been
WrestleMania.
57 of them. So my team's won 5 times in 57 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Bober's team's
6.
won 6 times in 57 years.
Yeah.
Justin's team ain't never done it in 57
Justin's
years.
team is getting ready to do it this year. And Bober, I custom ordered a pair of Air Force Ones for when we stomp the Steelers this year.
Ooh.
I'm going to do it in these shoes right here just for you.
Okay, you do that. Yeah, no, Paul. I was at your last Super Bowl win. I
In
went to that game.
96?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Super Bowl
Yeah.
30 out in
it was in the
Tempe.
desert in Arizona.
Yep, I was there for that.
Awesome.
Who did they beat
That's
in
an
that
experience.
Super
It,
Bowl?
it was the
Steelers.
Cowboys and the Steelers.
That's what I thought. I thought the Steelers lost that one. I was just making sure, double checking.
Yeah.
That's when they had old
Yeah, but
Neil
here's the
O'Donnell
thing.
was their quarterback.
Hey, Justin, we've still lost less Super Bowls than you have.
We've lost 3.
You want to know
We've only
something?
lost
Though?
2.
I heard an interesting sports stat about the Detroit Lions.
Mhm.
That John F. Kennedy has only missed one Detroit Lion playoff win.
Yes.
That is true.
Bless their hearts.
You know that John F. Kennedy and Teddy and Bobby, I think, almost bought the Washington Commanders back in 59, I think, or 60. And
Really?
they ended up getting cut out of the deal.
Hmm.
Really?
I read that
That's
little
interesting.
bit of history a couple months ago. There's a fun little tidbit for all you history people out there. All right. Well, we've got hockey in, we've got football in, we got a little bit of wrestling in. We've said it all. We've said too much.
And we
I
hit
think.
150.
And we hit
Woo!
150.
Hit 150.
We got anything else, Dave?
Just continue to support the channel. We can't thank you enough. I'm gonna give you that website again. It's www.pwdpod.com. Palm Water Day, pwdpod.com.
And we got
It'll
a
take
great
you right to the channel.
and we got a great September lineup.
We do have a great September lined up.
It's going to be good. You want to be part of it.
And I want to thank all the guys that were in the chat with us, Gianni Martello, Andrew Hermes, Terry Weaver, of course, always here. Darren Staley was here, Bobby, everybody that joined us. Thank you so much for jumping in there with us tonight. It was a lot of fun having Mike on here. More fun than I expected, I will admit. Guys, thank you so much for Mike Bober and his Pittsburgh Penguins, for Pondwater Dave, the great Miss Amy Vaughn. My name is Justin Davis. Please take care of yourself and each other. So long, everyone.